Hello friends, welcome to the session. In this session, we'll discuss political thoughts of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Friends, as you must already know, Deen Dayal Upadhyay has been a very sound figure of Indian social system, Indian political system. He was one of the members or founding members of the Jan Sangh, which provided an alternative ideology in the political ecosystem of India. He's being considered as a political thinker who propounded the theory of integral humanism. Friends, there was a time in India when from the beginning of the 20th century, or we can say the later 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century and the middle 20th century up to 1950, 1970, there has been a branch of thinkers who stressed that individual development is also very important. Prior to these thinkers, the emphasis was on the development of a society. And for that purpose, some types of political thinking, some type of social system was required. The Marxism, the communism, the socialism, they were all the result of that. But in India, particularly, if you talk about the Aurobindo, if you talk about the Ram Manohar Lohia, if you talk about Rabindranath Tagore, or if you talk about Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, they were the thinkers who stressed that individual development is the key to the social development. Whatever an individual thinks, the result, the outcome of his acts actually influence the society, and then the whole society got its shape. It is also called, the Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay has defined it as the integral humanism, and it is one of the most important theories those he envisages. If I talk about the personal introduction of Mr. Deen Dayal Upadhyay, so he was born in around 1916 and the family was poor, and he used to work for some social works, and then he found himself influenced with the ideas of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangha. He also got a chance to work with Golwalkar. Then he founded the Jan Sangha party. So this is a little brief introduction in personal if you talk about. Now, what were the political ideologies of Pandit Deen Dayal? He stressed on the ancient Indian wisdom of oneness of the humankind. Okay, as I was telling you, Deen Dayal Upadhyay was the mixture of the ancient Indian thought and the modern political thought or modern sociological thought. Those were prevailing at his time. Okay, he does not excluded the ancient Indian thinking. He provided that whatever was there that was applicable at that society, and some of its elements are also applicable to the modern times. Secondly, the brotherhood of a shared common heritage was central to his political activism. He said that any government policy, any method of government to integrate the society cannot achieve the desired result if the people are not having the feeling of sharedness. They are not feeling that in spite of the fact that we are different now in cultures, but we all share a common heritage, especially the people who were living in the Indian peninsula. These were the ideas. Those were the central to the political thinking of Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Coexistence and harmony with the nature, an alternative approach which was free from dialectics of competition and envy. That I was telling you. The branch of political and social thinkers in India in the late 19th century and early 20th century, they were different from all their previous thinkers, all their predecessors. They do not completely believe in Marxism. They do not completely believe in socialism. They do not completely believe in feminism. They do not completely believe in pre-modern thinking. They do not completely rely them on the ancient Indian political thought. They actually handpicked the greater things, the good things, and then they provided their own ideology, like the Aurobindo, like the Guru Rabindranath Tagore, like the Deen Dayal. So he denied that idea of dialectics of competition and envy. He said that the history of India is not the history of conflicts. The society of India is not competitive in nature, and it is not full of envy. Actually, it has some shared brotherhood, common heritage. That is why He provided an alternate idea which was carrying all the countries at that time to the that of the capitalism and communism. I have used the word here, the inertia. And why? Because, and why I use this? Because inertia, the capitalism and communism were the two ideologies at that time which were carrying all the countries into them. So an inertia was created. Everybody was thinking, oh, these are the only two way to achieve a good society. But Deen Dayal provided an alternative idea. Now, integral humanism, this was the most important thing. Like the total revolution of Ram Manohar Lohia, like the total revolution of development of soul and human development of Aurobindo, this was the integral humanism idea. So according to Deen Dayal Upadhyay, a nation needs four things. Firstly, land and people, which we call country. Secondly, collective will, like the general will of Rousseau. He called that collective will, comprising the desire of all. It is a general thinking or a general desire of all the people. Okay. Thirdly, a system which can be called as a set of principles, or we can also call it the constitution, on the basis of which a country will run, for which the concept of dharma is invoked in our culture. Okay. Fourthly, ideals of life. So these are the four things on the basis of which a country can withstand. And if you look at these four things closely, you will think that all these four things are not universal. They are actually individual in nature. The land and the people themselves, the collective will of the people, which will be a result of the individual wills. Okay. Then the system, that is called the constitution, and he imbibed a very important idea of dharma. In our culture, constitution is not only solely dependent on the rights or the duties of the state or the principles on the basis of which a country will run. Here, dharma means the concept of duty, like the ancient Indian culture, not the way of worship. Okay, is invoked in our culture to provide a set of that principle. Fourthly, the ideals of life. The high standard of living is very important for the citizens of a country, so that that country can in turn evolve. All these four elements comprise a nation. So these are the building blocks of a nation, and ultimately they are building blocks for we can say a developed humanity, and in turn that humanity will form a developed nation. He draws an analogy between individual and nation. That is what I was trying to say. If you look at these four things, the same analogy can be drawn between a country, according to Deen Dayal, between a country and an individual. Like an individual needs four things for a complete development. Like what? Some land. Land means some space to live. Secondly, a general desire, that what he want to become. Then the system means how, whatever he want to become, how he can or she can achieve that. Then the ideas, that these are the ideas, you will not furlough them or you will not deviate from them. So that is why this is very important for you to understand that Deen Dayal Upadhyay drawed an analogy between the individual and the nation. Whatever the resources, whatever the principle, whatever the system an individual needs for its own development, the same set of things is required for the nation, but it cannot be provided to a nation physically. So it is the responsibility of its citizens or the individuals living in it that they should apply their body, mind, intellect, soul towards the development of their nation. So this was the political idea of Deen Dayal Upadhyay. That is very important for you to understand. And also you can draw an analogy between this. I am referring this to you. That's now this is you should treat it as your homework, or you should treat it as your personal way of developing yourself in the area of political science. That you should also draw analogy between the contemporary thinkers of Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Like I am referring you some name: Rabindranath Tagore, Aurobindo, Ram Manohar Lohia, and Deen Dayal Upadhyay himself. Okay, and some other Western thinkers also who draws these type of things. This is very important for you to understand. Now, the idea of Desh or country for Deen Dayal. He draws a distinction between the country and the nation. Country is a set of land. It's an area which is defined that this is particular. Country is a political definition. Okay, it's a political definition. It forms of some people. Some land is required. Some resources are required. But nation is something different. It requires sacrifice, austerity, efforts, dedication. People should devote their life to build a nation. Okay, and who are those people? They are the Jan. Okay, Jan means, look, there are you can say a people and a Jan. What is the difference? What the citizen and the Jan? Citizen can be of any country, any general definition that okay, this is a man and he's a citizen of that particular country. But Jan means a person who has dedicated all his efforts for the development of a particular nation. Then Deen Dayal referred that person as the Jan of that particular country, that who feel attached to a particular place. Okay, so that is why the political party he formed, the name was of that political party was the Jana Sangha. Okay, Dharma and the Nation, as I already told you, that Dharma according to Deen Dayal was referred to the ancient Indian, the pre-modern thinking of India, and that means in the sense of duty. Okay, Dharma, Artha, Kam and Moksha. So that is the Dharma sense in the sense of duty. It is important to notice that Deen Dayal emphatically upholds the primacy of Dharma not just for the individual and society but also for the nation, the state and the government. Like the Dharma of a king that was followed by Rama during the disposal of his duties, the Dharma that was followed by Ashok, the Dharma that was followed by Chandragupta, that was the Dharma he was referring to. Okay. For Deen Dayal, Dharma is not just a sovereign value and balancing wheel between Dharma, Arth and Kama to attain moksha, but also the anchor sheet of nation, state and government. Whether an individual of a country, whether the ruler of a state, whether the office bearers in the government, they all have their different dharmas to follow at different instances. Okay, so that is required to form a country to development for a nation. Okay, so now the important question which may be considered in defining the connection between individual development and development of the society, a close link is found between the political thoughts of Deen Dayal and that of Lohia and Aurobindo. I have cleared that question with you during the session, that like the soul and heavenly development of Aurobindo, like the total evolution of Lohia, and like the integral humanism concept of Deen Dayal, they are actually somewhat they are somewhat converging to a single point. Okay. Secondly, political thoughts of Deen Dayal are affected with both the socialism thinking and the ancient Indian political thoughts. Whatever the concept provided about dharma, whatever the concept about the duties of individuals, the development of individuals, and that should should have a convergence towards the development of nation. This is the concept of ancient Indian political thought, and the thoughts provided about the distribution of income, the thoughts provided about the duties, about the we can say the participation of labor in the management, the participation of people in decision making process. That was the concept of socialism. So the political thoughts of Deen Dayal are somehow, we can say, are the synthesis of socialism thinking and ancient Indian political thinking. Friends, that's all for the lecture. Thank you.